also have today Kiran to really tell us a little more about his own experience. And I'm sure that between the three of us, and if there's anyone here that really want to comment, feel free to comment and to tell us about your own experience. First of all, Kiran, I'm just going to ask you to introduce yourself so the audience can know about you.
Absolutely, Tevin. Thank you so much. So, hi everyone. This is Kiran here. I hail from India, from Bangalore, and currently in Vishakhapatnam. I come from a state called Odisha, and my mother tongue is Odia. And I come from a background where my dad was in Indian Air Force, so my dad served in Indian Air Force. And coming from that background, there are a lot of dreams since childhood that wanted to become an astronaut and play with aeroplanes and a lot of fancy stuff which we all aspire from our childhood. But yeah, currently I am working with a digital healthcare company, as well as I'm pursuing my passion and trying to make the passion and idea towards a full-time entrepreneurship maybe in the coming few years. And that's where I'm super excited to meet all of you and share a few things about myself as well. Thank you so much, Tevin.
I'm going to jump in here, okay? Because the reason I wanted to talk to you, Kiran, particularly, was because we've interviewed quite a lot of entrepreneurs, but they were either my age or most of them older than me. And I wanted to be like them, but I can't kind of foresee that far, okay? So I wanted to be with someone that I can resonate with, relate to. And you are a lot younger than me, of course. We all know that. You're still in your 20s and coming up to 40. But the point is you're starting off as an entrepreneur. And what happens to a lot of people is if they're starting off, they compare themselves to Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. And they think, well, I want to be like that someday. But it seems like a far-fetched vision. It seems very unreal. If the passion and the desire is burning, then people make that leap of faith, and some succeed, some don't. I want to get into the practical details of it. If you're talking to me, personally me, my problems are I have financial liabilities, I have family responsibilities, I have children to feed, okay? I can't just give up my day job and make that leap of faith and go like, okay, you know what, I'm going to follow my passion, I'm going to do this. Because we all know as an entrepreneur, from day one, you're not going to start making money. To even break even, sometimes it takes not months but years. So how do I make that leap of faith? I don't want to let go of my passion and be like, okay, but this job is giving me a secure paycheck. And I love my job, by the way. It's not because I hate it. I love it. But yet I have a dream. So how does one make that transition? Really the question, because I know you're right there.
Wonderful. Nikita, I think that's a very important question which comes across almost all of us. And to answer you to that question, the good part is that you don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur in the start. And if you ask about my story, to be really honest, when I started, I didn't know that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. My whole idea was to become a cricketer. To be really honest, I have never dreamed to be an entrepreneur from my childhood. I just wanted to become a cricketer, a sports person, to earn respect, to earn the love of the country, and maybe do something which can create a huge impact in the society. So those kind of dreams were there since my childhood, but I never realized that this is something going to happen through entrepreneurship. So the first simple realization which happened into almost 5-6 years of my life is that I don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur to be in the first place. Why can't I learn few skills, develop my mindset for an entrepreneurship mindset, know where I am, and then take a leap of faith? So there are 3 categories of people. I'll just give a very simple example to understand. So there are someone called level 1 category. Level 1 category of people are people who are pretty happy with their job. They're super happy with their life. They have extremely good paycheck. They have amazing relationship in their life, and they don't have to be an entrepreneur. They don't have this desire because their dreams are already fulfilled. They're already living the dream life. Why do you want to give them the pain of that entrepreneurship? Let them live the life they really want to. They're already living it. The second category of people are the people who are already having a decent life, but they still feel there is a gap. No, I think I need something more. I think I'm not there. And those voices keep on coming to your mind on a regular basis. It is not just subtle voice just comes once. It keeps on coming in a multiple spectrum of your life, in multiple aspects of your life. And if you're in level 2, then maybe you're in level maybe you will like someone like me, because I was never in level 1 or not in level 3. And what is level 3? Level 3 is someone who's already there, who feels, I want to go all out. I want to burn all of my bridges. I want to go full on, no, I have no fear, nothing. And those kind of people in general are very, really rare, because sometimes that kind of mindset develops in different age groups. Some people have that kind of mindset in their college, in their early age. Some people come get that mindset after 35 or 40 or maybe 50. We don't even know how that happens. But the transition actually happens within you, and you would know that day. The day I'm asking this question, that how do I do all this thing, that means I'm still not in level 3. I'm in level 2. So let me accept my reality first, because if I know where am I can actually make a next baby step. So for me, the first reality hit almost 5 years back, when I knew that job is something, yeah, definitely I would need it, because I want to get a lot of experience in corporate. I need to get experience of how things are built from scratch and everything. But I was not there where I have to go full time. And that is when I think I met Vijay, who's my personal coach and mentor. I was very grateful that I met Vijay from Peak Impact Mentorship. And he gave me this guidance: Kiran, you don't have to go full time, but how about developing your mindset to a level you can actually choose? Maybe one day you want to go full time. Who knows when that day comes? But we can't just sit and wait that day to happen. Why don't we focus on building our muscles in present? Once you build a muscle in present, maybe in future you can go full time. So I think, Nikita, to answer your question just in a very simple way, you just have to understand where you are right now. And then based on that, in which level you fall into, then maybe you can take that step. So that's about it, Nikita. That is how I would decide, and maybe I would recommend everyone, maybe just know yourself better so that you don't have to compare with anyone else.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So, Kiran, based on what you've just said, I think I identify myself more to be in level 2. So I definitely am not prepared to go kind of all in. And I think it's that fear. Okay, there's nothing else. But so I'm at level 2. I'm perfectly happy in my job and everything else, financially okay, and everything is okay. The only thing is, yes, I want to do more. Okay, because in my job, there's certain things that, because it's a school, and there's certain things I can do, certain things I can't do, because they have a limited vision, and well, not limited. Their vision is different from my vision. So yes, for that reason, I identify myself to be in level 2. Now, what would be the next step for a person like me who does have other commitments? Okay, so what would be the next step?
That's a really good question, and a little bit tough question, I would say. In fact, that is where we all get stuck. We don't know what needs to be done next, and then we just wait for 1, 2 years, 3 years, and let our dream go fade off. So maybe I'll just share with my experience what I did. Maybe everyone can get some hint that what they can do. The first thing, when I realized that I was in level 2, and I tried to find a good coach at that time who transitioned from level 2 to level 3. So the first good thing I could do is that when I had that question, can I find someone in the industry whom I can trust and who can help me to come to level 2 and level 3, and that person has transitioned from level 2 and level 3. If I can find someone who has already done that, maybe my first answer to my question is there. I'm almost 50% done then. The next step, the moment I find the person, or if I just find people who have done those transition, try to see which kind of area would really be passionate about. So when I started, I realized that few skills I need to develop. It could be leadership skills. It could be communication skills, because every entrepreneur has to develop few skills. I have to learn how to be a promoter. I have to learn how to fuel my passion with time, because passion is something which will also give you a fuel start. It will also keep you in the game for a longer period of time. So what is that which you enjoy, which you don't feel like work? And maybe once you figure out while trying multiple things. So I tried multiple things initially. In fact, as I told you, I was in my cricketing career. I enjoyed from my childhood. Then I wanted to go for higher studies. Maybe I wanted to go to London and do my higher studies there. That didn't happen. Then I came into direct sales for some years. I wanted to see how can I do better? How can I grow myself? How can I lead a team? How can I, inspire people? How can I lead a team voluntarily such that they can we all can work together for a greater cause. I learned skills of selling and marketing. I used to go to restaurants, I used to go to hospitals, take out some products. It was kind of a door-to-door selling, but I tried to go professionally to multiple forums, try to pitch my ideas, try to see if I can influence those business people so that I can add some value to it. So I learned sales there. I, in fact, did blank calls. Today, if you're hearing some, credit card people coming and calling you that, and when you get irritated, imagine you being that side. You're trying to call for someone, for some good idea, for some good services, and people are just telling you, why the hell did you call me? Why? And I learned how to deal with people there. I learned how people would react for any particular idea. And I learned how to deal with rejections. Coming from a very good background from college, I have a very extremely good educational background. So there's always a gap of status quo and going beyond status quo. So that is another roadblock I had into my mind. How can I let go my good job and great career and do something which is not accepted socially in the society? Doing blank calls, nobody accepts that. They will keep asking you, hey, Nikita, you have such a great life. You have, hey, Tevin, you're doing amazing job. Kiran, you're doing an amazing thing. Why do you have to do this thing? Why do you have to do these petty things? So while we are in that kind of zone, in the kind of journey, you keep trying multiple things. And I sold multiple products. I started learning skills. I did coaching, mentoring even then. And everything, if I just tell you, I did it free of cost. I didn't expect that I'll become rich at that time. In fact, even now I'm not rich. Still we're in the journey of do something good in the society. But all those journey of failing and failing and failing made me realize where is my strength and where I can excel and add value naturally. So I would highly recommend, before you jump in and try something, so many different things for some time. So for example, if I tried sales, I didn't just try sales for 1 month and 2 months and quit. I tried for it for 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, and saw myself growing. How did I remove my fear? So once you keep trying it, stick to one thing at a time. Eventually, maybe you will find out, this is something you would really enjoy. And that is where I found out that coaching and mentoring is quite natural to me. And fortunately, Vijay, as I already mentioned, his coach of mentor, I used to pay Vijay that time. I used to pay around 10 to 20K. My salary was not that great. It was hardly 50, 60K that time. So I took a leap of faith even then. I used to put 15 hours, 16 hours at that even time without thinking that I have a day job, but I also have to grow. It's all about your attitude. It's all about you want to go all in and all out with whatever you have. Keep trying multiple things. And then ultimately you would find that association as well as that one thing which you really want to do and keep doing it. So I think just to summarize, as you asked, how do you do it? First point, find someone who has been to level 2 to level 3. After you find someone, try out multiple things and see which area is coming natural to you, and try to surround yourself people who are in a similar journey and try to implement and see which kind of services or product which you might sell to people which can add value and which is close to your heart. So that's about it, Nikita.
Cool. I really like your, there are a few things that you mentioned, but before that, I would also like to thank Maria Cully, who found the live. Great. Thank you to be there to support us. If you got any question, Maria, feel free to write them in the as a comment. We also have Harsh Sharma, who say hello, and Sundaria. There are a few things that you mentioned that I found really important. I like the fact that you got different categories, and I think that's such an important point. I also agree that people don't always have to quit everything to start a business. That's not always very wise. Actually, sometimes that can be a little crazy. Actually, I decided to resign myself to start my own company. And but you never know what's going to happen. So in my case, for example, I resigned and I was working in sales. And in sales, you got commission, so you got like a kind of a really decent salary that can go close to 100K a year. And I remember that when I decided to quit that job, I was like, I had that conversation with the accountant. I was like, I'm going to quit my job completely. And he was telling me, what are you expecting to generate the first year? And I was like, I want you to replace my existing income. So I was like, okay, let's be conservative and to be like 60, 70K. And that was my goal for the first year. So I resigned and I was like, yeah, anyway, that's going to happen. You know, you never know the future. I resigned, and then a few months later, I had a situation with my mother. There's like, and then it was starting to about learning to run a business that's completely different than being good at something when you work for a company. So I think that there's a lot of wisdom in really knowing in a way where you are and deciding if that makes sense for you to resign. Now, once again, I like the idea that it's not always black or white, because for some people they need to have that kind of a fire in order to move. Sometimes people, when they got a safety net, they won't move. So for those people, maybe that might be, yeah, you know what? Yeah, bring your bridges, even if you know that you are not completely ready, but bring your bridges, or it's never gonna happen. You know. So I like that element that you mentioned. Another element that I find is really, really important, and I'm surprised no more people utilize that, is the concept of having a mentor. That's so important. And for me, a mentor, that's not just someone that knows a few stuff. No, that's someone in a way that is already doing what you will was already where you would like to be in 10 or 20 years from now. Those are mentors. So yeah, I like those two elements that you mentioned. I know that Nikita also is really anytime that I had some meeting with a Nikita, she's telling me about courses that she's taking. She's got also mentors, so we are also really similar in that on that concept of having a mentor. So that's really important, I think.
Absolutely.
On that point, I'm going to jump in and I say Kiran is one of my mentors, because though he's a lot younger than me, but he is extremely talented. And well, I can say I'm proud to be extremely picky. I'm very, very picky with the kind of people I hang out with. And Kiran, I think one of the points that you mentioned, so first one was finding a mentor, yes, who's made that leap, who's made that journey. The second one was, yes, developing the much needed skills. And another point, and trying out what your passion really is. And then you also mentioned about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And I think that is really important. And for that, as I said, I am proud in a way. Most people think, oh, why do you have to be so picky and choosy? But I am picky and choosy about my company, who I decide to hang out with. And mind you, for people who don't know Kiran, because Kiran skipped this in his introduction, is Kiran passed out from IIT. And IIT is like the Oxford of India, okay? Very, very select few people get into IIT. He's gone through IIT and then decided to still, okay, I want to do more with my life. Most people who come out of IIT land with great jobs, great paychecks, and they can retire much sooner than most others would. But what he's doing is amazing, and he's taking these kind of baby steps, I would say, very well thought of, very well kind of, it's not a huge risk, it's a calculated risk, and I like that approach. So I'm not trying to sell Kiran. What I'm trying to say is it is really important to see that you find a mentor with whom you can resonate with. Because if I go with a big name, even if I can afford to go to, say, Tony Robbins or someone like Brian Tracy, the point is, can I resonate with them? Can I resonate with their lifestyle and their mindset? I can resonate with the people that I hang out with. And some I cannot yet resonate with, but I want to be like them. And that's also equally important. So I don't always have to be with people who are exactly where I am, because then I would not grow. So yeah, being with somebody who's a step higher up and even a step below you, because that's when you will be able to embed those skills that you've learned by passing them on to other people. And that's another brilliant thing that Kiran does, and that's how we met, because Kiran runs loads of kind of mentoring sessions and things like that. But one of them is a book club where people get together once a week and share their skills. And that's a brilliant idea. So Kiran, I'm totally all in on this. Getting a mentor, trying out what your passion is, finalizing it before. So I'm kind of there now. Before you quit your job and burn all your bridges, you kind of find that good balance. But as Kevin was saying, yes, and well, as you highlighted, firstly, it's important to identify where you sit. Are you a level 1, level 4, level 3 person? Sorry, I've been talking too much. Tevin, do you want to jump in and go with the next question?
Yeah, no, I like definitely what you mentioned, and I think that summarized quite well also what Kiran mentioned. Find your passion, find a mentor. I really like that. So I'm just going to put that in the comments. So there we go. Find your passion. And I forget the find, but it was supposed to say find a mentor. So we also have a good question here from Lucis Mita. If I can find that ready. Okay. So, and this is a question I'm going to ask first, Kiran, and then I will definitely would like to also have Nikita opinion on that one, and might be able to share also mine. How to handle objection on our entrepreneur journey. Now, Lucis Mita, I think that I understand the question, but if you can just clarify a little your question. Are you talking about you willing to start a journey as an entrepreneur and people in a way discouraging you? Are you talking about you already being in that kind of a journey and still and having to deal with a naysayer? If you can just clarify a little your question, but I'm going to let you, Kiran, answer the question the way you understand it.
Sure, Tevin. I think it's a very good question, how to handle objections on our entrepreneur journey. I think assuming that Lucis Mita kind is off in the journey as maybe she must have started it. So I think the biggest challenge is, as I said, the moment you have a leap of faith, when you have a dream and you want to do something different, there always be someone who would always tell you either they will emotionally blackmail, telling that you have a wonderful life and all those stuff. Why do you want to put that hard? Why do you want to get people's criticism and everything? You're having a wonderful life. Why don't you live that life first? And the second kind of people will question your ability. Seriously, how can you do it? I've seen you since your childhood. You are nowhere there. Please don't waste your time. Come and sit back, come back to us. And there are also kind of people who don't know you, but still they would just question you. You're just 20 years old, you're just 21 years old, you're just 22 years old. How can you even help me? First, help yourself. And so there are multiple ways the way people criticize and object you. I think the best way to handle this objection is to not react, to be honest. Initially, when I used to go through my entrepreneurship journey, I'm not proud of it, but I used to be very arrogant. I'm super not proud about that part of mine. I used to be so arrogant and very aggressive that whenever people used to object me, I used to get aggressive. I would not give them back, but I used to, with my body language, and tell ki, I don't want to talk to you. Next, I don't want to talk to you. And somehow the other, I used to lose relationship due to which. So maybe that person who is not kind of in that mindset, who talks to me about an idea, but I just reject him. I just give me that negative look and maybe spoil his mood or whatever it is. So with journey, what I realize is that people don't trust in the day one. People take time to trust you. And whenever they ask this question that you cannot do it, it is only giving you a challenge that can you do it and can we trust you? And it is your question. It is up to you that you have to prove them wrong and even prove to yourself. And every objections you would get, I would take that as a challenge. So for me, it is as I used to play cricket, right? Every single ball, you can either hit 4, either hit 6, either a single or duck, or you just leave. So if there is a very difficult person to handle, you just leave. Don't fight, don't argue, nothing. But if someone is in your batting range, you just hit a sixer, just influence. So for me, every single rejections were something like hitting a ball. And I was super excited for it in the end. And in fact, I converted those people who used to say no to me and they aligned to me. In fact, a lot of people who said no to me 4 years back. But today they are with me, they support me, they respect me. And only because I could stay back, only because I did not quit. So I think the best way to handle rejections is just ignore the more you can. And if you can't ignore, handle it in a very smart way so that you can influence them eventually. And don't quit. I think that's about it, 2 to 3 points. So just to summarize, don't quit. and ignore few people. There are only 1 to 2 people who will maybe very negative about your idea or about your personality, about your potential. Ignore them. You don't have to argue with them. There'll be 6, 7 people who are skeptical about you, whether your idea will work, or they will question about your whatever skills. For them, you can handle with better skills and better failing. The more you fail in handling people, the more you know how smartly you handle. And definitely you'll find 2 to 3 people who will be always walking with you as well. So the answer is do not quit. Rejections is a part, so you take it as a challenge, like a sport, and then move on. So I think that is how I handled in my past, and I would love to hear you guys as well.
That's beautifully put, Kiran. I think I agree with you on that one. You will come across a lot of people who are going to say no to you. And I'm not going to repeat everything you said, just so that I can respect time. One of the ways that I handle naysayers is, I think the movie Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith, he has a beautiful dialogue in there where what he says to his son. He says to his son that don't let other people stop you from achieving your dream, because people stop you because they haven't succeeded. And my mother used to give me this example. If you look at Guinness World Record, the highest weightlifting record, I think it's somewhere around 400, 500 kilos on human, the record that is there. So if this person, I can't remember his name, but if this person were to come to me and ask me, hey, you know what, I'm planning to lift 400 kilos, what would I say to him? My answer would be, are you mad? Are you out of your mind? Don't do it. You will die. And I'm saying this to him, I'm giving him this advice, not because I don't want him to succeed, it's because from my perspective, from where I stand, I know I can't do it. There is no way I can do it. So I believe no one else can. He won't be able to do it either. And I don't know him that well. So if he's trained enough, if he's done all that, of course he can. And that's why he did it, right? That's why we have these records. So if he were to ask 100 people around him, do you think I can lift 400 kilos? I bet everyone would have said no to him, because all of them tried and failed, and that's why they don't have a record. So just like Will Smith said beautifully in that movie, people say no because they think they can't do it. If you believe you can, then just go ahead and give it a go. And my motto in life is better an oops than a what if. I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to lay on my deathbed thinking, well, what if I would have given it a go? There is a good chance maybe I'll fail. And it's not failure, it's feedback. Maybe you won't do well. Things won't go as you expected them to go, but you won't know unless you've given it a try. So, and every time you have these doubts, think about what if up. We always think about what if down. What if I fail? And then we get carried away into those negative thoughts. Think about what if I succeed? How would my life change then? And I'm not saying go blindly into things. Of course, if you have these fears, if there's a reason for you to fear, oh my God, will I be able to do this? Then have a contingency plan. And then you'll be able to go ahead with things. But just because people say no, don't believe them. They're saying no because they haven't succeeded and you're not them. So maybe you will. Give it a go. That's the way I go about it. Tevin?
I definitely like that. So you made me think about like a few things, but anyway, I think that it's really about. I think that is true that the entrepreneur journey is. I think that it makes sense when you really want to serve. When you mentioned. I think that's what Nikita was mentioning, finding your passion. I think that's one of the first things, is really to be able to know why you want to start that journey, because there's going to be bumps on the road, and that is true that there's going to be so many occasions to give up. So I really like the idea to find your why. And you also mentioned, Nikita, about something really important: the feedback. There is the Peter Drucker. Who got, I think he's like for me a guru when it comes to organization, like a proper one, and he talk about feedback analysis, and I think that's something that is really important. So find one thing is really find your passion, make some kind of a plan to be able to reach your goal, knowing that your plan is never going to work perfectly, And anytime that thing doesn't work perfectly, like Nikita says, I realize that it's not a failure. Take that as some feedback, you know. So I really like that. I would like to also thank Vanessa, great psychotherapist in London. Ignore the naysayer. Another here entrepreneur, Hervé Kozikila, is the founder of a company in fashion industry called Fidelon. He is definitely that entrepreneur. He got a full-time job, and the way he ran his side business, that's crazy. That's literally like it was like another full-time job. So that shows, like you were mentioning, Kiran, that is possible, and you did that to yourself too. It's possible to have a full-time job and still running a business on the side, but you need to also to be ready to spend like a lot of hours, you know. So Hervé said you should convert rejection as a fuel to motivate you to succeed and prove those people wrong. uh, what do you think about that motivation? Okay, to use people comments, negative comments, as a fuel. What is your take on that, Kiran?
I think that's an amazing thing that actually has been part of my life. Every time people say no, it gives me a challenge. In fact, I don't know how many people know. When I before clearing IIT JEE in my college, I one of my college professor. I before I clearing, I went to him and I asked him what to do in my life. I've done my college, my preschool, and everything. Which college should I choose? What do I aspire? And when I went towards him. He told, Kiran, I think seeing in your present situation, I guess you can't clear IIT. You should probably focus on some other good college, and that is a potential which I currently see. My God, and that basically hurt my ego. I was fueled with a lot of energy, and I wanted to prove not him, maybe myself wrong. Why does he feel that I can't do it? And that was the first rejection, and can't believe it, it's just a rejection which helped me to clear IIT JEE. And the day I cleared it, I realized, I think all rejection people give me, that fuels me tremendous amount of energy, and it has worked in every aspect of my life. And I think if we learn to do how to do that, that can turn out to be awesome. If you don't, then also I've seen what happens if you don't turn to a fuel. You go to a level, you go to anxiety, depression, I don't know which part of that thing you go. And it's very scary to even imagine in that part of it. So yeah, I think, Tevin, I think it's lovely to convert your rejection to a positive outcome, and that can give you wonders actually.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I know that Hervé got that kind of a fuel. You say no to him, he's gonna work hard to make it to prove you wrong. I personally try to be quite cautious with that approach. I really try to be motivated by anything that is related to me, and not to pay too much attention to what's happening from the outside. You know, people clapping you or people like insulting you. I try not really to pay too much attention to that. But once again, motivation, that's something that is really personal. And if you pay attention to that, that's great to be able to transform that negative energy into fuel, for sure. We got a comment here from Nitesha. Nikita, were you about to add anything?
Yeah, all I was about to add is in NLP, they say in neuro linguistic programming, they say people have different kind of what we call meta programs or motivations, really. So one kind can be, yes, as you said, Tevin, to basically you want to prove yourself. It's for yourself. It's that whole intrinsic thing. I want to be better than what I am today. For some people, it is that power thing, which is I want to be better than somebody else or your competition, whatever that is, or it could be proving someone wrong. And that is actually a recognized motivation for a lot of people. And thirdly, there's a category who want to do it to I don't want to use the word please, but yeah, get that validation, appreciation from their loved ones. It could be a mentor, it could be a parent, it could be anybody. So I want my mother to feel proud of what I am doing. That could be a motivation for somebody else. So there are different things that motivate people. Just being very self-aware, that was the first thing that Kiran said, recognizing where you are, what motivates you. will yes, definitely get you one step closer to that goal. But yeah. Sorry, Tevin, you were about to read out comments, and I think, I don't know if it's, I'm not very tech savvy. I wanted to reply to a lot of people, but I'm not able to type anything. So anyway, so I'll go ahead and let you read out the comments.
Okay, so we have here a comment from Nitesh Beha. And I love that that's a comment. It's really about a fear of failure. So even though we have faith and self-belief in our passion plans, there's still fear of failure, which holds us back from giving our all in. And can you please provide your input on how to handle this fear or anxiety? Nitesh, thank you so much for that question, because we all, and I can, I think, safely say that we all have to deal with fear of failure, especially as an entrepreneur, but in life, you know. So thank you for that question. What would you say how to deal with a fear of failure or anxiety?
Amazing. I think question which Nitesh asked is a very deep question, I would say. In
Yeah.
fact, I have been through that phase where Nitesh mentioned that in spite of having passion, in spite of going, undergoing all of those rejections and everything, still when the results don't come, the outcome don't come, the fear comes ki, oh man, that's what I'm doing everything. I'm putting all my heart out, but still the results are not coming. What is wrong? And the moment what is wrong, you get a sense small seed of doubt, and if you just fuel it a little bit more, and it just grows so much into it, and there is a phase that you might have to give up your dream. I've gone through that phase where, in a depression phase, where I felt, I think everything is, in Hindi we call moh maya, that I think let everything go. I'm already having great life. Let me just quit everything and just take a peace and take a chill. And there was definitely that phase of my life. I went through it, and I went through 2 to 3 times in my whole journey of last 5, 6 years. But the best part, what I've realized has kept me always, is one thing is association. Since the start of my journey, I've never left my coach or a mentor. I've been always investing every single month. I've investing on my coach and mentor because of all these situations. Because more than you, where you're going, your mentor will know where you are mentally. Because then when a third person's eye who has a vested interest on you, they can recognize it. They can recognize before this things comes. Maybe you can prepare it. That's one way you could do it. Second is that while you are in an association, the best way is to maybe read few books. In my life, there are a couple of books which really helped me to understand, connect with my own life. And one of the great book which even Nitesh asked, maybe the answer will be there in that book, called Think and Grow Rich. And it is one of the all-time favorite books of mine. I'm sure you guys have already read it. And every phase of your life, when you read that book, you will get some answers. And in the book, it says, the day you have a lot of fear, there is no space of faith or self-belief where the fear is there. So if there is fear, there is no self-belief or faith. It has gone somewhere else. So you just have to accept it first, where you are right now, and based on where you are, try to seek help, try to be in a positive association, try to maybe read autobiographies, because autobiographies will also play a lot of good important role when you seek. A lot of people have been through that journey, and it is normal, it is not abnormal at all. And then take some inputs and keep on putting actions. The anxiety, and I think the anxiety and fear keeps on feeding yourself if you don't put actions. Your mind will tell, don't do it, it's all right, don't do it. But you need either a coach, or you need to push yourself through, put one step ahead, put some more action. So action, association, and definitely a mentor and coach helped me in my journey. I'd love to hear your inputs as well, Tevin and Nikita.
I'll let you reply first, Nikita. How to deal with fear and anxiety?
For me, when I have fear or anxiety, I go to my one person, which is my safe haven, or two people really, my mom and my dad, who support me, because I feel still that I don't feel comfortable sharing my fears with anyone. So it's my parents usually. And the advice that my mom and dad have given me, it's really a 3-step process. Okay, so step one of the process is ask. When I say no, I can't, I just can't. When I said initially I wanted to start a business, and then I that it was the inner voice, the fear going, what if you fail? What if you lose your mortgage and everything? So I had that fear. I went up to my parents and said, no, I and said, no, I don't think I can. And then my parents asked me the one question, can you give me one good reason why you can't? And then I was forced to really think of all possible reasons that why I can't. And some of them were legitimate reasons, that what if things don't work out well and what if I lose everything? So I need money to at least cover my mortgage and groceries and everything else. So financial risk was one thing, and the second risk was really the fear. So my parents said, okay, this is a legitimate risk or a fear, which is the financial fear. So go to step 2, which is find a mitigating strategy. And the mitigating strategy, as Kiran suggested, was for me to keep having a full-time job, start my business on the side, and only once my business is generating enough income stable for at least 3 to 6 months, which covers my current income or at least my mortgage, then I go from a full-time job to part-time and then finally quit. So having that step-by-step approach, so have a mitigation strategy or a contingency plan to overcome that fear. And the last step sometimes still is, it's not anything legitimate as financial or this or that. It is just that anxiety. So what do you do to beat that anxiety? And for me, the answer is to beat one anxiety, you use another anxiety. And the question that my parents asked me to beat my anxiety of quitting my job and starting something on my own was, okay, so imagine you have this fear and you give in to the fear, so you never start your own business. You never do anything that you're passionate about, and you stick to your day job. What happens then? Now you're 65, 75, 85. What are your thoughts going to be? Are you going to be happy to do this same job till you're 65? And that scares the hell out of me. To be stuck in the same job for 40 more years or whatever, 30 more years, that thought is more scary. So that thought propelled me or kind of gave me the fuel to overcome my current fear, which is to start the business. So that fear has given me that motivation. The second fear, which is, what if I never do this? And on my deathbed, I'm telling stories to my grandchildren saying, I really was passionate about so and so, but I never did it. And how would that make me feel? Would I be proud of myself? And the answer is no. So that fear actually killed another fear. So yeah, just asking yourself, what is stopping you? Have a contingency plan for whatever is stopping you, if it's a legitimate thing. And if it's simple anxiety, which everybody has, there is nothing wrong with it, then use another motivation factor to actually overcome this anxiety and go in baby steps so it doesn't feel overwhelming at all. So yeah, that's my approach of overcoming my anxiety.
I really love those step. That's a 3-step process. I think that's something that people can really use. And it's also linked to what Kiran mentioned on don't stop, always be in motion. But I like that 3 steps, like give me a reason why you cannot. The second one, find a mitigating strategy, and ask you the question, what if you don't do, what would happen if you don't do what you want to do? So that's simple, but I think that's really powerful. I really like the idea of to stay in motion. And actually, I think that's a really, I love that answer, because I try to always follow nature, and nature never stops. Well, nature is always movements, So yes, I think that always being in movement, that's definitely also something I think that's really important. If you don't know what to do something. The worst thing that can happen is to just be frozen and not to freeze and not to do anything. You mentioned about that book, Think and Grow Rich. I would also recommend anyone to read that book. You only have 12 chapters, but it's worth to read and over that book. There's like another book of that author that people don't especially know about, and who really deal with that fear, Outwitting the Devil. I think that's the right title. I would recommend anyone to read that book because it's really deal with fear, and that's literally the conversation between I don't know who that person and the devil, and the devil explained how he managed to control people using fear. And in that book, you get some kind of a strategies first of all to understand how fear is used to keep to stop you from moving forward, and also how now that you understand what you can do, what to deal with that fear. So I really really love what you mentioned there, Kiran, and you also, Nikita. So yes, those two books, Think and Grow Rich, and Outwitting the Devil, I would definitely recommend that. Now, talking about books, we mentioned about mentors, we mentioned about book. Definitely, learning and keeping learning. That's definitely anytime that I speak with Nikita, I'm like, okay, yeah, man, you need to step up your game. She's always learning something. We spoke about books. We spoke about mentoring. Uh, what do you think, guys, about people planning a lot to the T what they're gonna do? Yeah, people
I
who
think
want to be prepared in order to start things.
Okay. So, Tevin, let me understand the question. So, your question is, how do people get started with the plan of after having all these thoughts and everything in place? Is my understanding correct?
Yes, I think it's more because what I've seen also is that you get people that got that dream to start something, and what they say is that, okay, I need to be prepared, and they're going to start reading books, they're going to go to seminar, and they are that's great, they're getting prepared. But what do you think about that approach compared to people who just jump in the water and then learn to swim?
I think I would personally love that. So I think there's a report called Career Impact Report, which Vijay, so my mentor, had did to me, and it had three kinds of people. The way people learn their thing. I think one of the type of people who learn is kinesthetic learner, where people learn by doing things, not just by listening or not just by reading things. So my personality reflects that I love learning by doing things. So entrepreneurship, no theory, it won't motivate me. Let me just do things and just learn. Let me just fail and see. So I think the best fun comes in life where you do things and when you see things happening. Let's say I learned entrepreneurship. As I told you, the first step. If you really want to learn how to handle rejections, go to LinkedIn website, put up just go through a lot of posts. You will find multiple people sharing phone numbers. Collect all the phone numbers. Take up your phone. Start calling them. That's it. So you don't have to do much. Second execution. Let's say if you're fear in talking to people, if you're fearful in talking public, I think Tevin and Nikita is doing a great job. You all have a phone, mobile phone. Vijay used to say, just take up your mobile phone, go to LinkedIn Live, go to Facebook Live, go to YouTube Live, just speak. It's all right. And just start speaking. And anything, you just have to get started. And that is when the fun is all about. And talking about the vehicle, because once you get started, you will know what you want to do, what you not want to do. With me, when I started to work with Vijay, I did not know that I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but Vijay gave me an opportunity that time. In spite coming from a technical background, that opportunity was not in technology, it was sales and marketing. I did not say no to him. I said, it's all right. Maybe I'll learn. Maybe I'll fail miserably. I'll at least understand that this is something which I can never do in my life. So what I started doing is I took that opportunity. So whenever opportunity comes to any of you, anywhere, do not say no. And assuming that opportunity is from legitimate source, and don't blindly say yes to everything, because again, you'll waste your time, but say yes to a genuine and legitimate opportunity. Don't worry what will happen. The moment you start thinking, your mind is so powerful, it will always bring you back to comfort zone, telling that you can't do it. Please don't do it. You are already, your profile and that profile is completely different. Don't do it. Don't let your mind play with you. Before the mind tells you, just say yes. The moment you say yes, you have a commitment, and you have to stand for the commitment and do whatever it takes. So that is how I started, because initially I did not have any plans, to be honest. But once I started, I failed. Then I realized I have to create some strategies to make my process much better and more efficient. And that is how the plans came. And the best part is that the moment I started finding people like me, I built a team from scratch, and I found people like Karthik San, I found Nikita just recently. A lot many people aligned to the cause, and then the journey became more fun. Even plans started forming with the people, because I knew I can't do everything on my own, and I need people for that. I need people's help. I need someone help. So I think when the help comes, you just bring everyone aligned, and then things will start happening. That is what I did, Tevin, which comes straight away from my mind. I would love to hear from you guys. How did you guys got started?
I'm definitely willing to hear from Nikita when it comes to the mind and the emotion managing with that. I definitely refer to Nikita. So what do you think, Nikita?
Okay, I'm not going to go into the science and theory. I'm actually going to tell you this morning what I told Kiran when I was talking about this whole podcast. I said to him that I'm one of those people who likes to plan and over plan. So planning is a great thing. There is nothing wrong with it. But you need to recognize if you've got this imposter syndrome or your own fear stopping you and you're making excuses to execute those plans. And my current excuse from starting my own business, or I've delivered loads of courses, but for other people, for some other people on their platform's website, but not for myself. And the reason for not doing it for myself is, well, I haven't found the perfect place yet. I've just bought a new house. I've got a home office. I'm waiting for it to be all decorated, ready. And then my videos will be great. So I'm waiting for that to happen. So when Tevin made this offer to me, I said the same thing to him. Yes, I'm definitely on board, all in. Kiran asked me as well. I was like, yeah, all in, but wait, okay. A couple of months, couple of years until my house is ready. That was my answer, because it's my fear probably stopping me, the over planning. I want things to be perfect. And that perfect attitude, the perfectionism sometimes gets in your way. The way I got started is because I was having just a regular video chat with Tevin. And without informing me whatsoever, with no notice, I was in my home kind of pajamas and everything. And he just clicked go live button, and our conversation was live. I was like, oh my God. And he started the conversation by saying, Nikita is not aware we're live. So guys who are listening to me right now, if you don't see me in 2 weeks' time, which means I'm dead, Nikita murdered me. So this is how we jumped in. And that's Tevin's approach. I can definitely say you jump in and you learn to swim. And sometimes that works. And I think what I'm trying to say with all of this is you need to know who you are, and having a plan, if that is what works for you, brilliant. But please stop and recognize if actually that over planning, that imposter syndrome is getting in your way. And if that is what is happening, then please contact Tevin. He will push you off the cliff, or get in touch with somebody who is going to be that mentor in your life, who will recognize that you're actually self-sabotaging in the name of planning. So planning is a great thing, but if it becomes self-sabotage, then you need somebody to hold your hand and jump in with you. And that's exactly, Kiran and Tevin are those people for me. I have Shawful, I have Dr. Minne actually pushes me a lot. So find your mentor is a great one.
I love that. I definitely love that. You guys have mentioned like a few things that I think are really important. Kiran mentioned about don't stop, just a move. Stay in movement. Kiran also mentioned about you need people. Actually, you are not going to be able to run your business completely on your own. That's also a mistake that I know that I made. Not only when I jumped, I decided to resign. I was like, do you know what? Don't worry about me, Mr. Accountant. I'm gonna generate my salary as a successful salesperson for a multinational. Don't worry, I'm gonna generate that money on my own with a company that I'm starting from scratch on my own. So talking about arrogance, I think that I've also have something to blame myself for. And don't do things on your own. Find people, find mentors for sure, people that are 10, 20 years ahead of you, but also people who can actually start that journey with. So I found that's really important. We are coming to an end. What I would like to take like 1 or 2 minutes to talk a little more about you, Kiran. I know I got to kind of issue because I love marketing, I love communication. Even if I do less and less, I work more with people now. But anytime I go in a kind of a website, my marketer mind always is like analyzing thing. And I have to say that I went on your website, growthexpress.in, and I find it really well done. So I would definitely invite anyone to go on that website, and you're going to be able to get information about Kiran and his team. Can you tell us actually what you actually help exactly people for, so they can know if they should contact you?
Absolutely, Tavita. Thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely, I think the Growth Express, the whole idea was formed in the mission of empowering 1 lakh people in effective communication and life skill. In fact, before launching the website, we used to be part of Peak Impact Mentorship, who's a mentor's website. And I realized that my mentor is doing a great job, and to pass on the vision, I need to take that leap of faith, as we were talking about in the first place an hour back. And the leap of faith, including all of people who are there with me, Karthik Sana, there are a lot of people who are around with me, who've given me a lot of courage to take that leap of faith. And that is where the Growth Express stands. It's a website, it's an initiative to help everyone who is struggling to find information and knowledge and learning, and a coach where you spend years or maybe months by Googling or going to YouTube website, finding that person who can help them out, and after spending a lot of time, you do hit and trial and see what will work or not work, rather than you just come to our community where a person will be there with you and maybe hold your hand or try to be around with you and reduce your time, and you can just move ahead much faster. So it's more of a coaching and mentoring setup, so that you can save your time where you are wanted to go in your life, and still work together and create a growth atmosphere around, so that you all can get inspired in the community and still move ahead with your goals and plans for your life. So the initiatives to do that part of it, and impacting 1 lakh people in effective communication life skills in the journey. That's
So
about
now,
Growth Express.
nice. So now, guys, you don't have any excuse. So what we mentioned for you, try to have mentors. If you don't have mentors, please read books. Learn. Find people you can exchange. Be receptive with your entourage, but also find people you can really share your journey with. If you don't have those, I think that Kiran has just offered you kindly to join also his community with the Growth Express. So please take that offer and be in action. Kiran, thank you very much. I'm going to let Nikita and yourself actually finish and give conclude that episode of Entrepreneur Story. So Nikita, I'll let you finish, and then we leave the last word for Kiran himself.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Kiran. I still have like a million questions that I can think of, especially with regards to age, because I am not as young as you are, but I still get questioned along the way. But you really know those kind of things, and people judge people who are a lot younger than themselves, and it's trust issues, then life experience, blah blah. So yeah, I really had so many questions written down, and maybe we'll just have to ask you to come back again. Otherwise, you won't be going to bed tonight. So, but yeah, thank you, Kiran. Thank you. This has really been brilliant. I think the way you spoke was very practical, and a lot of us can resonate with that, because yeah, it is very difficult to, on one hand, let go of your passion because you want to do it, but on the other hand, to really take that leap of faith and go all in. So the suggestions that you've given, going in baby steps and being in motion, doing things little by little, finding that balance is really the key. So thank you for that. We will definitely get you on again, because I know you have a lot of strategies for this very thing, taking that leap of faith, having alternate sources of income and all of that, which you have spoken about earlier, not today, personally at book clubs and all that. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. So I will let you, have the last word.
I'm really humbled to really spend that quality 1 hour time with both of you. And while I know Nikita, because Nikita has been part of our community as well, and she has been serving, and I think Nikita is one of the role model to so many people. Maybe she's not aware of. And while she speaks and while she brings out the creativity and the way she presents, many people just look up to you, Nikita. Maybe you have no idea. Maybe people have not reached out to you. People keep asking me, Kiran, how do we get to learn about this thing? How do we get to learn about how do I reach Nikita? And so many things people are learning with you, Nikita, and we are really blessed that you keep growing, because your growth is also inspiring us. And definitely we'll definitely share more and more time and maybe add more value to a lot of people. And Tevin, I met you for the first time, but doesn't feel that I met you for the first time, because the thoughts and the frequencies are like already connected. We were already connected. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of journey together, maybe do some collaborative work and do something good for the society as well. Thank you so much, Tevin and Nikita, for inviting. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you very much. So guys, if you want to contact Kiran, feel free to go on the website. I'm just going to make sure that you have the website. It's easy to remember. It's a growthexpress.in. Guys, I know that you can also work with Nikita. There, I would say just go straight away to a LinkedIn profile, okay, or send us like a message, and that's going to be about communication and emotional intelligence. Thank you very much for the support, and see you next week. And that's going to be about communication and emotional intelligence. Thank you very much for the support, and see you next week.